In 1971, 3 cosmonauts looked down at Earth from the most advanced structure ever placed in orbit, and none of them lived to tell the tale. A glowing blue planet below, an empty vacuum above, and floating between them, Salyut 1, humanity's first space station. It was a technological marvel, a bold experiment, and a tragic lesson, all rolled into one silent metal cylinder drifting over Earth. But Salyut 1 wasn't just a leap forward in space exploration. It was born from desperation, secrecy, and Cold War ambition. And its story? It ends in heartbreak. The 1960s had been a decade of firsts. First satellite. First human in space. First moon landing. And while the world celebrated the Apollo 11 crew walking on lunar dust, the Soviet Union realized something. They couldn't beat America to the moon. But they could beat them at something else, staying in space. Their answer? Build something the Americans hadn't even attempted yet, a permanent laboratory orbiting Earth, a place where humans could live and work for days, even weeks. A space station. Thus, Salyut 1 was born, built in total secrecy, codenamed DOS-1, Durable Orbital Station, and disguised in official documents as a civilian research lab. But this was no mere science experiment. It was a bold political move, a new high ground in the Cold War. The engineering behind Salyut 1 was revolutionary for its time. Measuring just 15 meters long and weighing over 18 tons, it looked like a giant metal cigar with solar panels for wings. Inside, it was a tight squeeze, just 100 cubic meters of living space, barely enough for a crew of 3 to float around without bumping into each other. But it had everything a space traveler could need. Sleeping stations, workstations, a galley for food, even a telescope aimed toward the stars. It launched on April 19, 1971, riding a Proton K rocket into low Earth orbit. The world's first space station was now operational. There was just one problem. No one was inside. The first crew, aboard Soyuz 10, was meant to dock with Salyut just days after its launch. But space, as always, had other plans. As they approached, a faulty docking system malfunctioned. The crew made contact with the station, but couldn't get in. They drifted, helpless, for hours before having to abandon the mission and return to Earth. Salyut 1 was ready, but empty. And then came Soyuz 11. 3 experienced cosmonauts, Georgy Dobrovolsky, Viktor Patsayev, and Vladislav Volkov. Together, they successfully docked on June 7, 1971, and became the first humans to enter and inhabit a space station. They stayed for 23 days, conducting scientific experiments, observing Earth's weather systems, and adapting to microgravity. The Soviet media hailed it as a triumph. But inside the station, the experience was far from smooth. The air smelled like machine oil. The temperature fluctuated wildly. Food was bland and hard to digest. One fire nearly filled the station with smoke. Still, the mission was making history. Then it was time to come home. On June 29th, the crew boarded Soyuz 11 for re-entry. Ground control received their final transmission. "We are feeling fine. Everything is normal." Those were the last words ever heard from them. As the capsule descended through Earth's atmosphere, everything seemed routine. But when recovery teams opened the hatch, they found all 3 men dead, still strapped into their seats. No crash, no fire, just lifeless silence. What killed them? At first, no one knew. The capsule appeared intact. But the autopsies revealed a horrifying truth. All 3 cosmonauts died from suffocation. Their lungs collapsed. Their blood boiled in seconds. A pressure valve had failed during separation from the station. The cabin depressurized in under 30 seconds. With no spacesuits, none were worn inside the Soyuz at the time, they had no chance. Dobrovolsky, Patsayev, and Volkov had become the only humans to die in space, not during launch or landing, but in orbit. Salyut 1 remained in orbit for just 175 days before it was intentionally deorbited. It burned up over the Pacific Ocean on October 11, 1971. It was never used again, but it laid the foundation for everything that came after. The Salyut program continued. The Mir space station followed. And eventually, the International Space Station, home to astronauts from around the world. All of them trace their roots to that first fragile outpost in orbit. Salyut 1 proved that humans could live and work in space, but it also proved that space doesn't forgive mistakes. Today, we look at the sleek modules of the ISS and talk of missions to Mars and moon bases. But it all began with a cramped, creaking metal tube and 3 men who gave everything for the future of space exploration. They reached the stars and never came back. Salyut 1 wasn't just the first space station. It was a monument and a memorial. If you found this story compelling, subscribe for more untold chapters of space history and leave a comment. Should we still risk human lives for the stars?